A massive thank you to OxyF, Josh, Luigi, Ryan and Rodrigo for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 2 of Season 5 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the Chinese Grand Prix, and of course if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. The first race of Season 5. And yeah, there will be spoilers in just a moment, but it was certainly well worth a watch though. But as we head in towards Shanghai this weekend, we currently lead both championships for the first time on F1 2021 there. We nailed the strategy in the Bahrain Grand Prix, left us out about 10 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen when we crossed the finish line there. But Red Bull, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Mercedes, they're all looking incredibly quick. We'll have to wait and see what sort of pace McLaren have got. Didn't really perform in the first race weekend of the year, but back to Shanghai. First time I've raced this track, of course, since, F1 2020. Yeah, this one is going to be weird going back here. A bit of a nostalgia tour, if you will. But of course, if you aren't already, do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 50k by the end of the year, starting early, aiming for our goals this time round. But yeah, let's dive in then here to the Chinese GP weekend. Right, well here we are then, back in Shanghai for our first laps here in free practice then. Yeah, very strange to be coming back here, but fingers crossed we can have a good weekend nonetheless. The weather predictions are anything to go by. Looking like it's going to be a rather soggy one though this time round. I'm really not sure whether this track's going to suit our car particularly well either. But thought, it'd be nice to come back to this track at least once on F1 2021, of course, as it is still in the game. Of course, we've got 2 new tracks ready for Season 5. Of course, we head here in round 2, and then the final race of the year is going to be at the all-new Jeddah circuit as well, which I've had a lot of fun driving at on F1 2021 in the couple of videos we've done so far. But tiptoeing our way through this first free practice run. Oh, a lot of understeer there. That's definitely not the line as we head through the high-speed S, but seems like a lot of the remodelling done around here on the curbing is looking rather nice, so that's good to see as well. Maybe I can actually learn to love Shanghai a bit more. Never been a particularly big fan of this track on past F1 games. Coming in towards the final corner then of our second lap. Nice splodge of rain there, so we couldn't see where on earth the apex was. But towards the line, nice purple score. Learning Shanghai. On to our qualifying simulation run then. Let's just see, sometimes these ones are going to be a little bit odd due to the nature of the weather. But, I mean, yeah, 1.3 seconds up. This could be a nice, easy purple score there. That probably won't help us much in terms of understanding qualifying pace. Yeah, I mean, pushing up towards 3.5 seconds up as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. If we don't get pole now, going to be very disappointed in the realism of F1 2021 there. Struggling a bit, actually, in the top speed trap, but I think sacrificing some top end is worth it for aero this weekend. But round in the final corner, 4 seconds up now on the predicted pole time. And yeah, 4.5 seconds up if we don't get pole now.
And a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
But a couple of purple scores nonetheless to start the weekend, despite that time. Still only 3rd in the session, so love that from Codys. Well, into Q2 then, and let's just see if we can try and get this lap hooked up a little bit more. Track's just meant to be getting wetter and wetter here, so try to go out as early as we dare. But yeah, just need to try and find something in this car, try and get it working the way I want it to, because we need to find a lot more time, otherwise get to the race and we're going to be screwed there. Braking a bit earlier into T1, that's a little bit better. Never really know what line to take through this first section, but I always try and late apex it, and then really try and keep it tight through the second part. But yeah, maybe the inters are going to be a great equaliser here. We'll have to wait and see. Our first time's already in on the board then. This 1 minute 40s from Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc. So that's about where we need to be at the end of this lap. Whether we are or not is a very different question. Oh, a little bit of a snag there in towards the hairpin. Oh, a big kick of oversteer on the exit there. Made an absolute hash of that one, but in towards the final corner. Yuki Tsunoda now almost dips in the sub 100 seconds. We get another nice kick of oversteer, but up towards the line. It is going to be a 41-0, so not too far away. We'll go for a second run, but no idea if the track's getting worse or not. Guan Yu Zhou is holding up Tsunoda and I, an absolute treat as we head out of the second snail section. Of course, his first ever home Grand Prix here on F1 2021, but we're 4 tenths up at the moment. Of course, we made a hash of the final couple of corners on our previous lap. We're getting a handy little slipstream from the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes, as long as they don't hold us up through the final couple of corners, which they definitely are a little bit. But again, you can just see finding time from the mistakes last time round through the final corner. Sonoda pits in. We head through the final corner. And that's going to put pay to our second run then of the session into the wall, Antonio Giovinazzi style. I'm lucky that one didn't rip off a rear wheel. But that was a bit too close to absolute catastrophe. Our final run then of Q2, and I'm not convinced we're in a particularly great place at the moment. Track does definitely seem to be getting wetter and wetter. And we just need to try and get the lap hooked up at the final corner over the start-finish line. Is there still going to be more pace to be had? We're currently in the drop zone down in 13th. So we need to be brave and committed on this second run. I'm trying to keep it a bit tighter through turn 1. Then just get the front end rotated back in over that curbing. Not too bad there. A bit of a lock up through turn 2, but that's alright. And then just try and easy on the throttle on the exit there. Still a 10th up at the first couple of corners there. And of course there are mistakes around the rest of the lap. Bit of a lock up there, but as long as we get a nice exit, that shouldn't be too bad. Which we just about do. Still in the green as we head in towards the S's. Just try and keep it nice and tidy. 6th gear through there. And then really rely on the engine brake. Get the car leaned in through the right-hander. Session is now coming to a close as times are still improving from a few people. Really nice line through there. That's going to be half a second gain very, very easily on the exit there. Braking at the 100 board though into the second snail section. Attack the curbs on the way in. And then, yeah, be really, really careful on the throttle on the way out. We are still finding time at the moment, so this is perfect. And exactly what we need, as long as we don't do anything stupid. Roll on the power, a second up now. Clearly, yeah, these slightly wetter conditions are helping the intermediates, keeping the tyre range and give us the grip we need. Ricciardo won up on 40.3, so we need over a second if we want to see ourselves into the final qualifying shootout. But through the final hairpin. 1.1 up, big little kick of oversteer on the exit. One more corner to go. Brake just for the 50, attack the curbs.
We need a good lap here, or we're out
No dramatics, final corner. It's going to be a 39.7, and that's third. How close was the top 10 then? Well, there we go then. That is very, very odd to see. Look at that. From what? Yuki Tsunoda in 5th. Down to Valtteri Bottas in 13th is covered by just 4 tenths of a second there. But it is Red Bull and 212 Motorsport clear out front there. We go just 6 thousandths slower than Verstappen. So in the dry, Red Bull seem to be untouchable. In the wet, we seem to be pretty good there. Lando Norris 6 tenths clear at the end of Q2. So we are really praying then for a wet Grand Prix. Second weekend in a row though, Hamilton out in Q2 by just 1,000th of a second this time to Charles Leclerc there. So not what he would have wanted. Both AlphaTauris into Q2 once again there. Even George Russell in his Aston Martin. But yeah, let's get into Q3. And I think we've just got to hope it keeps on raining. Well, this is now anyone's guess as to who's going to finish out on top here in qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix. But fingers crossed it's going to be a 212 Motorsport car as we get ready to start our first lap. Going back out on the old set of tyres that we used at the end of our Q2 run. So then we've got a fresh set right for the end of qualifying to chase the Delta with. But yeah, could this be our first pole position? I think Lando's just got a bit too much pace, but you never know. Sergio Perez 41.1, new fastest lap of Q3, but let's just wait and see what this time's going to be from us. Few small mistakes have definitely cost us time, and it gives us something to chase later on. But yeah, we've just got to try and get that first lap nicely hooked up there. Lando 8 tenths away from Checo's time, and we're going to be about 8 tenths away from that apex through the final corner. Up towards the line though. It's a 41.2, 1 tenth away from Sergio Perez. We are on the money so far, unless of course Verstappen throws in an absolute worldie. Knowing Verstappen, he's going to set like a 38.9 or something mad, and then all my hopes and dreams fade away immediately. This has been one of the weirdest qualifying sessions I've ever had on F1 2021, but it all comes down to this final run then, as we get ready to start our final lap here of Q3. Is the track still getting faster? Only one way to find out, and that is to push and take all the risks. Big wobble out of the final corner as we head over the start-finish line, but we only need another 10th to try and put ourselves on pole position for the return to the Chinese Grand Prix through turn 1. Just feeling the front end trying to understeer, but we keep it rotated in nicely. Perez finds just that little bit more. 41.0 now from Sergio Perez. So we've just got to try and find that little bit more pace here. Basically now just need 2/10 at the end of qualifying. Running a bit wide out of the snail section. Get it straightened up though. Oh, way too deep into the hairpin. If we can try and get a nice straight exit, we might be able to find back a little bit of the time there. Big wobble, but 3.5 tenths down now. So we've got an absolute mountain to climb in the second half of this lap. Just try and keep it composed, Matt. We might still be able to find a little bit of time to improve. Just through here again, I made a small mistake. Trying to attack curbs on the way through. And there we go, pretty much back up then to where we were. Come on, there's still the potential to find the time. Attack the curbing through there. Get the car rotated nicely through the S section though. Again, a lot of understeer. Oh, it's all coming away from us. We're just trying to push the car a bit too hard, I think. And as we head out onto the back straightaway, again, a half second down. Surely now this is over. Unless we gain massive amounts of time in the final few corners of the lap. I think we've still got Verstappen doing a run as well. I'll have to wait and see what time he improves to. But yeah, just got away from us. And this should have been pole position, I think, had we hooked the lap up. You can see there on the exit, gaining a little bit of time once more. But final corner. Half a second down. Oh, attacking a lot of curb there, but we're still not even going to find any time from it. Up to the line, it is only P3. Not bad by any means, but that could have been our first pole. Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted for the Chinese Grand Prix. And Sergio Perez, who's been mighty fast all weekend, finds himself on pole position there. Carlos Sainz on the front row. So good to see from the Spaniard and Ferrari there. We joined Charles Leclerc on row 2 ahead of Max and Lando, Tsunoda, Gasly, Russell and Guan Yu Zhou. Let's dive in then here to the Chinese GP.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once more, a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt we've got plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Can I get your take on Ferrari? We've had a significant regulation change for this season, but from what I can gather at this early stage, it seems they've had some trouble adapting their car.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Tsunoda. Gasly, Russell, Zhou, and Lewis Hamilton. Ricciardo, Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Valtteri Bottas and Stroll. Ocon, Mazepin, Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher. Eilert, Giovinazzi, Schwartzman and Christian Lundgaard. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
How can we win the first race of the year and Jeff's just there like, yeah, no, 10th will do this weekend. I never quite understand F1 2021, but things are about to get interesting here in Shanghai. Looks like it's gonna be potential for a wet finish to this one, so we'll have to wait and see as to what we need to do with the tyres here. But dry pace wasn't reassuring early on in qualifying, so I think my aim is going to be to try and send it on Sergio Perez and then control the pace from there. Medium hards is definitely going to be the way to go today, or hards mediums, depending on how you're feeling. But I just want to get warmed into the circuit on some slightly grippier rubber early on, and fingers crossed that'll make the difference today. I think everyone is probably going to be one-stopping. We might see a safety car, you never really know here in Shanghai. But let's dive in then for round 2 of the campaign. 5 red lights here back in China. And it is lights out and away we go. Oh, big snap. That was one of my worst starts of the game, as we're lucky not to take out Verstappen and our teammate there, back at the inside of Lando in towards turn 1, desperate to try and regain the position there, but that has been the perfect start for Red Bull. From first and I think third of, no, it might have been fourth or fifth on the grid there for Max Verstappen. It's straight up into a 1-2 for them. And he's on mediums as well there, so Red Bull, yeah, certainly going to try and go aggressive early on and build up a gap as we're getting all out of shape on this opening lap there. When you try and hang with the Red Bulls today, I think it is just going to be us versus them. Oh, front end already pushing out. There was Lando. Look at that grip and confidence from Lando Norris on lap 1 there. We just haven't got the confidence in the dry at the moment. We just can't seem to get the car dialed in a lot of places, and that is not what we needed at the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. Sergio Perez and Verstappen already breaking away as we're now squabbling with our teammate. Anyway, end of lap 1. Looks like it is going to be Perez that leads the way ahead of Max Verstappen, Lando Norris and myself, and then Leclerc and Pierre just behind. But yeah, we're certainly not losing too much to Lando Norris early on, at least throughout most of the lap. Are we going to be able to go for a send again, back down through turn 1? The AI like to run a bit wide, so we'll sneak it up the inside. Oh, Lando's giving us a big old squeeze. Come on, mate, we are there. No, it was a bit of a send from us, but we have made it pretty clear, you know, a lot earlier on in the corner there, and we do get right around the outside on the exit, but we cannot afford to battle Lando all day today. We need to be trying to hang the Red Bulls. Of course, if Perez wins, though, it's not the end of the world, but we can't let Verstappen start taking dubs. Oh, here comes Lando Norris again on us, though. We try and drain the battery, keep him at bay, but Lando, he's just running so much lower aero than me. Up the inside he goes into the hairpin, and we can't even try and get the switch back on him because he defends the inside, so we'll put the power down around the outside again. It's a great little teammate battle there as we just about slot in front, but look at the gap the Red Bulls are already pulling away. 3 seconds up the road.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Yeah, 3 seconds already there as Lando again thinks about it into T1. Yeah, just shouldn't be doing this. I know we could have just let him get on with it, but we needed P3 for our own race on the tyres. But it's just costing us already. Right, let's now see with some DRS what sort of run our teammate can get on us as we head down the back straight once more. He is gaining, but I think this time around we had just about a big enough gap. Because, I mean, yeah, the Red Bulls are... I know I keep saying it, but they are just pulling away. We are just watching the Red Bulls romp away early on in this GP. I mean, they're not gaining much around a lot of the lap, but then it's just through the S's of Sector 2. They're putting like half a second on me, and there's nothing I can do. Big lock up again down in towards the hairpin, as Lando hasn't really been applying too much pressure, but has certainly been right there still all over the back of me. I guess our only real hope this weekend is that maybe Red Bull are 2 stopping, and that's why they're pushing so hard. Otherwise, yeah, we have just got no answer to them. I think Lando's just going to be that little bit closer this time round. Yeah, look at this. He's already all over the back of me as we head down the DRS straightaway. Once again to the inside goes Lando Norris. We give him a big old squeeze, and he does just about get the car in front before the braking zone. Down around the outside once more. Of course, softer rubber. Oh, that got a bit close for comfort. Big snap of oversteer. There's Lando again, thought about it through the final corner. It's a big battle between myself and my teammate still.
For a new strategy option.
A team recommending anything useful? Not really.
Confirmed.
No point doing half a race on these tyres unless we don't need to. There as Lando actually loses the place now to Charles Leclerc. So yeah, this battle really heating up between myself and my teammate. We didn't see much of each other last weekend. But yeah, coming to Shanghai, we are certainly fighting for everything. Oh, we got yellow flags out. I think that is one of the Red Bulls. I think Perez having issues here in the Chinese Grand Prix. Verstappen's just jumped him as well. And Checo's out of the Grand Prix there. So a heartbreak for Sergio Perez. So we've had retirements now for Red Bull and Mercedes in the first 2 weekends of the year there. But that's going to mean Max Verstappen clear out in front now. 7.5 seconds clear of myself. And now no one to battle with for the Red Bull. Whether the team will tell him just to dial it back a bit, never know, but they were pushing hard early on. So still quite surprised to see that, but poor old Sergio Perez looked comfortable early on in this race, and it's all for nothing.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Oh, so there we go, that might add a bit of spice then to this race. If rain's meant to be here in 10 minutes, that's going to be about 5 laps, about 6-7 laps from now. Don't think anyone's going to be able to make it to that period unless someone's really brave on their hearts. But certainly going to make things interesting between Max and I. Remember how strong this car is in the Inters. So maybe this race isn't done and dusted just yet.
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
Our team want us in then at the end of this one. And to be honest, I think that's still going to be the way to go. I think we've just got to play the normal strat in case it doesn't get wet enough. I wouldn't risk trying to go on for a set of softs, but there's too much at stake too early in the championship to start going for really risky plays like that. Heading down the back straight again then for the final time on this set of medium tyres here. Charles Leclerc gets very, very close by the time we reach the braking zone there, but just not quite close enough, as Verstappen's going to stay out another lap. It really does depend where we're going to come out in this Grand Prix. First time into the pit lane here, and we've almost Hamiltoned it. Luckily there's some tarmac there now. Get it slowed down into the box, and that's pretty tidy on the way into the pits there. Oh, Verstappen! What's happened to Max's span? Riding on board then with Max Verstappen as we head through turn 1. Have the tyres just had enough then on that Red Bull? You can see him sliding around, tries to correct it. I'm not too sure that's the way you're going to go about doing that, but Verstappen round, and that could be costly for Red Bull. We're still coming down the pit lane here, and look at that Verstappen. He's actually come out behind the Ferrari and our teammate there. He's had to wait for that whole queue of cars. He does finally get it going again as we get a nice 2-second stop. But Max Verstappen has completely thrown it away early on in the GP. And now that means Charles Leclerc's got a great chance at a victory here. Look at that, he's still sat in the first sector here. What has Max Verstappen done? He's basically cost himself an entire pit stop as he tries to get going again. But this has completely thrown this race wide open once more. Verstappen, of course, still going to have to pit at the end of either this one or in a couple of laps' time there. We got the inside of Lance Stroll, and it's all going at this Chinese Grand Prix. Try and put some temperature into the rears there, but I can't believe Verstappen has done that this early on into the day there. But I mean, to be honest, he's still not out of it in the pace of that Red Bull car. But now the real question for us is, where are we going to come out relative to all those other medium runners? There, Mazepin just kicking out the back end all over the back of Mazepin though, as we get ready to head out onto the back straightaway here, trying to get all over the Alpine. It should be a nice straightforward DRS pass though on the young Russian. Let's just wait and see there. Look at that, yeah, Verstappen only 3 seconds up the road. So I cannot believe Verstappen has thrown it away like this. Surely he's going to box at the end of this one like a lot of the other medium runners are doing so. We outbrake Mazepin. I'm always worried he's going to send it back on me at the end of a straightaway there. And yeah, look at that, Max Verstappen then into the pit. So we've basically got an entire pit stop now over the Red Bull. Are we going to come out comfortably ahead of all the other medium runners that are pit? Oh, looks like we are. So yeah, now it's just a case of comparing ourselves to Lando and Charles. Could Ferrari be on for their first win in a good couple of years?
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
There we go, nice snap of oversteer there, but the rain now getting pushed further away again. So that's rather good then that we made the call that we did to go onto these hard tyres still. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the sort of Leclerc-Lando group can do. Are they A, going to overcut us, and are they B, going to have so much more pace later on in the day that we can't really do anything to defend from them? Going through the final corner though, back to crossover half distance. Guan Yu Zhou into the pit lane. We go purple through the final sector. So that's good to see. Well, there we go. Lando into the pits by the looks of it. No, that's Charles Leclerc, sorry. Into the box at the end of lap 15. So we are going to get some confirmation in just a moment. Lando staying out one more. I'm guessing he's going to come in at the end of this one. But as long as we're ahead of Charles Leclerc still, this is still looking possible now. Out of nowhere, Red Bull have been completely unstoppable. But Verstappen into a completely unforced mistake there as we set a 31-1. And look at that, there's Charles Leclerc. So we have come out still in the lead of the Grand Prix. And now actually with a good couple of second margin. But Lando Norris, yeah, is still going to be hounding us towards the end. And are we going to see some Verstappen fastest laps? I mean, even if he does, surely he's too far back now unless we get a safety car. Look at that, Verstappen of 130.9. So on the hard tyres, he's no quicker than us. There we go, Lando into the pits, end of lap 16.
Lando in the pits.
So we should still be out ahead of our teammate, but Charles Leclerc, yeah, only 1.5 seconds back at the moment. I was going to try and set a new fastest lap at the end of this one, but mistake through there is not going to help us. Through the final corner, attack the inside curbing, up towards the line. It is going to be a 31-2.
Laps under fuel target. We need to start aggressively conserving our fuel reserve.
still a little bit under fuel, but looks like Leclerc's actually going to come out a good couple of seconds ahead of Lando there. Bottas might start hounding our teammate, but I think they're all going to rock back up towards me. And then, yeah, the defensive masterclass shall commence. Oh, there we go, Charles Leclerc, a 130.3. The Ferrari is flying at the moment. And yeah, we're just going to have to try and be as quick as we can down the straight and then defend as much as we can through the corners. But Lando Norris still in P3. We'd hate to see him lose another podium after he did in round 1 of the year late on in the day. But Leclerc and Ferrari are sensing an opportunity at a victory here. I don't think they're going to take no as an answer. Oh, Charles Leclerc only a quarter of a second back as we head out onto the back straightaway here. Lando Norris is closing in as well. But we're going to have to go defensive on Charles right up to the inside grass as we head down the back straightaway here. Can we keep the nose there on the brakes? Oh, close to contact there, but we squeeze him out this time. And luckily for us, we do live to fight another day then. 10 laps to go here from Shanghai. That is not the line through the final corner. That is safe to say. And yeah, we are certainly going to have to put our elbows out today if we want to make it back-to-back race victories here. But Charles Leclerc, yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Ferrari are going to want this one. Look at that. Up the inside he goes. Charles Leclerc. Oh, a little bit of contact there, I think, as he just drifted out towards me. His teammate Carlos Sainz going fastest. So clearly, yeah, Ferrari have got a race-capable car now. But, I mean, this shouldn't even be a battle for the win. Max Verstappen should be clean up the road. But somehow, again, it's opened up for us. That is not the line through the hairpin either. I'm just showing you how not to race Shanghai right now. Again, though, defensive on Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris just now waiting in the wings here. The Ferrari, is he any faster that time round? Even if he is, we just completely commit up the inside. Never even look to be backing out of it. There is, look at that, Lando Norris. They're having a look to the outside of Charles Leclerc in towards the final corner here. And this could be the breakaway that we need. We get a warning for track limits. But we break out of the DRS zone here. It's not going to last for very long, it must be said, as Tsunoda gets the better of Gasly. But Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris still both want this race victory. It could go any 3 ways, or maybe it could go to Tsunoda or Pierre. We're just sat there a few seconds back, waiting and biding their time. And, of course, battling each other.
Some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
And I completely forgot that's still a possibility here. How could the rain affect this race? Normally, the softer tyres, the better. But if it absolutely starts bucketing it down, it could be anyone's guess. Like 3rd time's a charm, perhaps, for Charles Leclerc. No, that time round, we're even further alongside still. And he's so early on the brakes. Whether he's just aware of what we might try and do there. But Lando, again, trying to capitalise on the exit. And this is just going to be deja vu, lap after lap after lap. Only time will tell, but at the final corner, 8 laps to go. Look at this time round. Charles Leclerc trying to look around the outside in towards turn 1. Thinks better of it there. I think he was actually going to try and do the up and under. But we defend from him there as well. So Leclerc, yeah, is really pushing forward at any sort of opportunity now. But Gasly, Sainz, Tsunoda and Lewis Hamilton are all getting closer. This could end up being what, an 8-way scrap? 7-8 ways there as well. Look at that, Leclerc up the inside into the hairpin. Surely he's not going to be able to pull that one off there. We'll get the power down on the exit. Yeah, this could easily become like a 7-way scrap for the lead as Verstappen still down in 8th. Desperately trying to close up. Oh, there we go. First starts of rain. 6 laps to go here in China, and now the rain is just starting to trickle down. How bad is it going to get before the end of this one? If this race couldn't get any more dramatic, it might take one final twist. Like I said, normally these sorts of conditions favour people on softer rubber. There is a big wobble through the S's, but car seems alright at the moment. It's just a case of how bad and how quickly it's going to be. Oh, though, look at that. Look how much it's helped Charles Leclerc there. Immediately he's going to look to the inside. We'll give him a big squeeze. Team talking about the tyres there, but we're too busy battling out for the race lead. Up the inside of Leclerc we go. Oh, just about get it slowed down there, but look at Lando. Lando might be able to get the switch back on the pair of us as we get a warning for a collision with Charles Leclerc. And look at that, Lando Norris straight up into the lead of the Grand Prix here. Are we going to be able to stick close to our teammate? We've had so many battles with him so far today. We get a good run back up the inside in towards turn 1. It's all drama at this stage of the day here in Shanghai, but we can, whatever happens, absolutely not make contact with our teammate Lando Norris here. 5 to go. 7 cars still within a shot of this race victory at the moment. It is anyone's guess which way this one's going to go. Oh, Lando Norris again, just like we
This
saw
rain
from
could be with us
Leclerc
for a
last
while.
time.
Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
This time around though, Lando again doesn't have much more top end speed than us at this stage of the day. Back to the outside we go. We got Lundgaard going slowly just in front of us. Can we hook it up around the outside of our teammate? Oh, we're just about keeping the nose there, but again, not quite as we head through the final corner. Are we going to be able to get another DRS run though? Back down to Loadcell 1. Yeah, look at that. Lando just doesn't use any battery at the final corner. He clearly hasn't got it mapped up. So we're trying to just use the battery in other places around the lap, but we need Lundgaard to get out of the way. Come on, Christian, get on with it. So we head through the first couple of corners there. I'm sure he's panicking a little bit as Christian Lundgaard there just sits on the exit of the corner. We will put the power down around the outside, and he didn't do a brilliant job there, but has got out of the way. Unfortunately, yeah, has helped out everyone else as well as he just kind of jumps seemingly into the distance. But yeah, look at that train of cars now. It's both Mercs, both Ferraris, both 212 Motorsport cars, and Pierre Gasly. 4 laps to go. Doesn't look like it's going to get wet enough for the intermediates just yet, but is anyone going to take the gamble? And though again with the DRS this time around, we forced him to the outside. Just about try and keep the nose there. Come on, slow it down. Keep it under control on the exit. Again, Charles Leclerc trying to have a look. But Lando this time around holds on. And we live to fight another lap. Can we do my probably best ever defensive drive here and hang on to the race victory? 3 to go here in China. Absolutely the key at the moment is just keep Lando having to go to the outside. Again, that time around a little bit later on the brakes, but getting it slowed down into the hairpin is getting more and more difficult each time. A pretty level pegging as we head out of the final turn. Surely he's not going to hook it up around the outside. No, nowhere for Lando to go on the exit. That's going to cost him the run. We get the DRS there, but this has been such a tough old race. 2 more to go. I would say at the moment, if you're outside the top 10, it's probably worth a punt pitting in onto a set of the intermediate tyres here. But 1 lap to go, just over. Here from the Chinese Grand Prix, and these hard tyres have just got absolutely nothing. It's like driving on ice as we try and put the power down out onto the back straight. Look at that grip from Lando Norris on the high side.
2 laps of fuel left.
We're going to have to go defensive once more here, but Lando Norris is the closest he's been at any point during this Grand Prix there. And look at that, Lando flies around the outside in towards the braking zone, goes defensive. Can we get it slowed down around the outside there? That was so close to contact again. But we'll put the power down and just about hang on yet again here as we head in towards the final corner. 1 more to go here from China, and any mistake now could easily throw you away from a race victory to P7 and just a handful of points here in China. We're just going to have to play it so careful as we head down towards turn 1. Some of you guys always say it's impressive that I can live commentate whilst I'm racing, but laps like this I really wish I wouldn't, because it is so difficult to try and put the power down. DRS has been disabled, so it is definitely intermediate conditions.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
Don't think anyone's taken the risk though, as we just go half a car's defensive on Lando Norris. We've got to completely control the pace up until the S is there through the snail section, sorry I should say. Through here we go. Just keep it towards the apex. We don't want to risk anything. We don't want to open up any sort of door for our teammate or anyone else just behind him here, but it is just going to be all about the run down the back straightaway. Is it going to be Lando? Is it going to be myself? Leclerc, maybe even Tsunoda? Oh, that was a big snap, a big wobble, but we are still at the moment just in the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. This has been one of the weirdest weekends I think I've ever had on F1 2021 on our return to Shanghai. We've had no pace in the dry, but when it starts raining, this car is ferociously faster. As look at that, Lando does sneak up the inside there, and we've just got nothing we can do against him. Look at that, Lando Norris pulling away as we head down the back straightaway here. We've got Charles Leclerc, who's trying to have a look up the inside as well. We've just got nothing left on these tyres. Oh, into the back of our teammate, in towards the final corners of the Grand Prix there. Are we going to be able to hang on? It still looks like it's going to be a 1-2 for the team there, but in towards the final corner, Lando Norris out of nowhere is going to take the race victory. We've got nothing left in the front end there. We just about get back on, and it's P2.
Brilliant job, mate. That's a fantastic podium. Super driving, really strong pace. Very happy.
And with that, we wrap up yet another incredible Grand Prix weekend. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. So, let's review the drivers' standings. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. What an end to the Chinese Grand Prix. I'll be honest, I don't care what anyone says about that final corner. We lost the front wing. I was still going to be committed there. We span across the line, but it is still a 1-2 at the end of the day. Lando Norris took it away from me. We just didn't have the grip, plain and simple, heading out of the snail section. He'd always been stronger through there. I think it was just one of the places where the AI were always going to be a bit OP, and then just when push came to shove, we had no grip left on those dead hard tyres as well there. But 43 points on the board, it doesn't get much better than that. 2 races in, and myself and Lando Norris are each race winners here at the start of the campaign. Charles Leclerc P3 there, less than a second separating the podium finishes there ahead of Tsunoda and his teammate Carlos Sainz. Ferrari are definitely back. Mercedes are still right there. AlphaTauri and Pierre Gasly, maybe they could take a shock race victory at some point during this campaign. But Hamilton down in 7th place there, and Max Verstappen, that should have been plain and simple for Red Bull. We should have never been in that position to fight for the race victory there. But Sergio Perez with issues. Max Verstappen making an uncharacteristic error as well meant that he finishes down in P8, and that'll be one that I'm sure he's kicking himself about come the end of the weekend there. Homeboy Guan Yu Zhou gets points at his first Chinese Grand Prix. They're down in 9th place ahead of George Russell. And you can see McLaren again lacking overall performance there, down in 11th and 13th there. You can see the rest of your finishing order as well. They're just Lungard, who ended up a lap down at the return to Shanghai there. But we're still top of the championship, 6 points ahead now of our teammate Lando Norris. The ever-consistent Charles Leclerc in P3 ahead of Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda there. Gasly as well in 6th ahead of Sainz and Hamilton. Perez and Ocon get bumped down into 9th and 10th there ahead of George Russell. Guan Yu Zhou and then Daniel Ricciardo, so 13 drivers scoring after the opening 2 races of the year there. But a 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. We absolutely love to see that. Basically double the points of anyone else so far in the Constructors. We seem to be the only team that's had 2 very, very good weekends there. 80 points to Ferrari's 41. Red Bull on 29 ahead of Mercedes on 26. And then AlphaTauri on 20 there ahead of Alpine, Aston. And look at that McLaren. We thought they were going to be in the battle at the front, and they've just put 1 point on the board in the opening 2 weekends there. Williams rejump, Haas on countback. But yeah, what can we say from our return to China there? What a race that's been this weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. A massive thank you now for 33k as well. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.